When it comes to Learning Road, they brought something different that I was always waiting for.
Belize needs more farmers, and especially the young ones, because they, like what we heard, the farmers of our country, Belize, are in the range of 50 to 60 years. So what will happen when they pass away or something?
Either way, maybe we get new ideas, new plans. So it's very important for us.
Martin, Yemi, and Esteban are 3 of the 15 youth who participated in the Learning Route, an initiative geared towards promoting entrepreneurship in agriculture among rural youth in Belize. Youth unemployment and poverty in Belize are amongst the highest in the Caribbean region. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, F.A.O., in its work to promote food security and eliminate poverty, believes that agriculture is one of the solutions to youth unemployment. The project, strengthening decent employment opportunities for young women and men in the Caribbean, is funded mainly by the International Fund for Agriculture Development. F.A.O. is the project's executing agency and co-funder with the Procasur Corporation and the Government of Belize. The Learning Route is a step in the right direction to engage youth in the opportunities in the food and agriculture in rural Belize.
Basically, the idea advocates, and the idea is to enable a favorable environment for youth employment in the Caribbean. This kind of methodologies contributes to that goal, basically through exposing young men and women to the opportunities that there might be out there.
In many of the islands in the Caribbean, but also the CARICOM as a whole, about 70–80% or even more in some cases of the food is being imported. So, and we all know this, the prices in the supermarkets for the imported food are pretty high compared to the salaries that are earned. So there is definitely scope to to supply local produce and reduce the imports, because the imports levels of food are still increasing in the Caribbean. And if you look at the money what is spent, what is actually floating away to abroad because we're buying food from abroad, this goes into the hundreds of millions in this region, and this is really sad. So if we can produce it locally, let's try to do that, and yeah, everybody should eat as much as possible local produce.
And that is what these young people want to do. They want to pursue agriculture. Many of them are still small-scale farmers, producing fruits, vegetables, and livestock for local consumption. But the Learning Route has exposed them to the innovation and opportunities that exist within the agriculture sector in Belize.
In livestock, I learned something new. I didn't know that in the pigs you had to cut the teeth. So that's something new that I can start to do with my livestock. And in crops, in the area of the string beans, I found an easier way, instead of using a lot of work and do less work, to produce your string beans.
One of the things that inspired me from the program is when we visit Belize Botanical Garden. See, they got have covered structure with orchids, but I want to do one with flowers, because we do irrigation, landscaping, but when we do landscaping, we have to buy our flowers, our trees, everything. So it kind of takes a lot of money to get flowers. So I would like to, when I go home, I'd like to do that, start a cover structure for flowers.
We went this morning to the guy in Ladyville that had the hydroponics plant. I've never seen something like that yet in my whole entire life, and it still amazed me to see plant grow without soil. You know, up to now I'm still wondering how it works, or how it's come about.
But there's only a handful of inspired youth in agriculture in Belize. For this reason, the Learning Route gave the participants the opportunity to experience a range of fields in the agriculture sector, with visits to a botanic garden, farms owned by young farmers, and a backyard hydroponics setup.
There's a huge demand for gardeners out there. You have the flower industry that is not big here in Belize, but can become really, really big. You have the veggie growing, you have the landscapers, you have the nursery people. All these branches can fall under horticulture, which has to do with plants.
Farming has helped us, my family then, by sending us, all my brothers to have an education to UB, high school, and to have our own food made by us, we don't have to buy. And one of the main things is to have food for the family.
This particular system, I could shut this down today and by the end of the week have new plants in it, and I could be starting within 6 weeks and producing again. So you can produce in 6 weeks. It's green. The green aspect of it is that we recycle our water.
So while agriculture can stimulate economic development through employment and food production, experts in the field say that young people stand to benefit most from this multi-million-dollar industry, and technology has helped agriculture to evolve. It makes work easier and outputs bigger.
The idea is to try to stimulate faster interest in agriculture. Why? Because agriculture is still the backbone of our economy.
Agriculture have come a long way from just, as we're seeing here today, from soil bending your back to actually hydroponics, which is a new technology. Well, it's not new, but it's a technology for easier work in agriculture. The stigma against agriculture have been something that we're trying to get away from. But to get young people into agriculture, again, we need to make it more attractive. Adding technology to agriculture, adding ICTs to agriculture, adding AutoCAD to agriculture. That will make it more interesting for young people to get in.
And the learning route experience left a lasting impression on the participants.
Because agriculture is a big deal right now, you make more money. So I know I have no other job but agriculture. Have my own business in my backyard.